Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on an absolute mind-bending journey. We are tracing a line from the very edges of the hypothetical multiverse, straight back down into modern-day classrooms right here on Earth. Let's dive in and explore exactly how the biggest, most expansive ideas in the cosmos intersect with human learning and culture.
Right off the bat, we have to ask, do we live in just one universe, or are there literally infinite multiverses out there? Now, I know, it sounds like pure science fiction, but modern astrophysicists are actively debating this reality right now. And to even begin wrapping our heads around it, we really need to look at the numbers.
Okay, let's dive into this. 13.7 billion years. That is the currently accepted age of our universe. Just imagine it, expanding outward from a single initial infinitely dense singularity for 13.7 billion years.
And then you've got this number, 7 billion light-years. While some researchers estimate this as the diameter of the observable universe, others point out that its continuous expansion means its true size could be, well, completely infinite. Which of course begs the question, how on earth did it get so big so fast?
Let's move to the timeline and see how this actually builds. It all comes down to an incredibly fleeting window of time. Less than a single second after the Big Bang, this period of cosmic inflation kicked off. By the 30-second mark, just 32 seconds, the universe had inflated to 26 times its original size, at a speed faster than the speed of light. Eventually, this volatile, explosive growth slowed down, which allowed atoms, stars, and galaxies to form over billions of years.
And you know, the mysteries of this rapid cosmic inflation are exactly what led scientists, like American physicist Alexander Vilenkin, to propose the multiverse theory. He basically theorized that this rapid inflation didn't actually end everywhere all at once. It stopped in regions like ours, but continued expanding in others. And that uneven expansion, it could leave behind entirely hidden, unpredictable parallel universes.
Now, pondering infinite parallel lives and hidden worlds is thrilling, for sure, but let's bring the narrative right back down to Earth for a second. As Nobel laureate Hans Bethe so eloquently put it in our source material, acquiring scientific knowledge enriches one's life. We have a genuine drive to understand the world around us. This deep, inherent human need to grasp our place in the cosmos is essentially what drives all of science forward.
So, the crucial point is this. While our scientific horizons are literally expanding into the infinite out there, our understanding down here on Earth is facing a pretty serious hurdle. Our sources highlight a genuine crisis in scientific literacy. Specifically, they note real struggles to grasp these basic cosmic realities within the Arab and Islamic world, where modern education is somewhat colliding with ancient misconceptions.
To put that into perspective, take this startling case from 2017. The scientific community in Tunisia was completely shaken by a PhD thesis submitted in environmental sciences. The student had spent 5 whole years writing a paper claiming that the Earth is completely flat, that it's stationary, and that it is the literal center of the universe. The thesis stated the planet is only 13,500 years old. It explicitly rejected Newtonian physics, Einstein, and the Big Bang, all in favor of specific religious interpretations.
And honestly, this wasn't just a one-off incident of modern science being publicly challenged. Our source material points to another really surprising anecdote from 2015. A video went completely viral showing a Saudi cleric, Bandar al-Khaibari, giving a lesson in a UAE mosque. Speaking to a room packed full of listeners, many of whom were actually students, he flat out denied that the Earth rotates, not around its own axis and not around the sun.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact logic he used to make his case. He argued, okay, imagine an airplane taking off heading for China. If the Earth truly rotates from west to east, well, the plane wouldn't even need to fly forward, right? It could just hover in the air and wait for China to literally rotate underneath it. Using this total misunderstanding of basic inertia, he even went on to cast doubt on the lunar landings.
Now, you combine these kinds of cascading misconceptions with the modern internet, and it is the perfect breeding ground for rumors. Scientific facts are constantly taken out of context, twisted, and then repackaged on social media as these apocalyptic doomsday rumors. Let's play a little Mythbusters here with a very specific example, drawn straight from our sources. Take this viral post. It claimed that NASA was predicting the sun would rise from the west tomorrow because Earth's magnetic field was going to suddenly flip, fulfilling some ancient prophecy. Well, what's the reality? Yes, the magnetic field does flip. It's an absolutely real geological phenomenon, but it takes hundreds, if not thousands of years to complete a single reversal. So the science itself is real, but that overnight doomsday timeline? Completely false.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the actual timeline. A magnetic flip happens, on average, roughly every 500,000 years. But get this, it has been 786,000 years since our last one. And data from the European Space Agency actually shows Earth's magnetic field is currently weakening by about 5% per decade. That means a flip could technically begin within the next century. But again, it's going to be a remarkably slow, gradual process. Definitely not a sudden event that changes where the sun rises tomorrow morning.
So, how do we fix this? How do we bridge this massive gap between scientific facts and public understanding? Well, our source material introduces a potential solution. The book Introduction to Modern Science and Its Relationship with Islam by Professor Nidhal Gossom addresses this exact crisis head-on. It serves as this amazing intellectual guide, aiming to reconcile modern scientific discoveries with Islamic thought. The goal is to ensure that science is understood accurately, without anyone feeling the need to distort or deny the actual facts.
The core takeaway here is all about harmonizing science and tradition. The text heavily emphasizes establishing a rock-solid foundation in basic physics, astronomy, and biology. It's about teaching people how to spot logical fallacies, like that airplane hovering over a rotating Earth. The ultimate goal is to stop framing religion and science as contradictions. That way, society is actually prepared to face very real, upcoming challenges like climate change and genetic engineering. At the end of the day, scientific literacy doesn't distance people from their culture, it actively enriches it. Which brings us to our final thought for today. As we look up at the stars, potentially searching for life beyond Earth, in a universe that might just be one of an infinite number of multiverses, are we truly ready to expand our minds to match the infinite scale of the cosmos? Achieving real scientific literacy is absolutely the only way we can properly meet the future. We have to leave behind the misconceptions of the past to truly understand the breathtaking reality of our universe. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I will see you next time.